It's Friday, August 1st.
Look, we like Canada. I love Canada. I have so many friends in Canada, but they've been very poorly led.
U.S. President Donald Trump didn't wait for his deadline to pass before hitting Canada with 35% tariffs. Prime Minister Mark Carney has called the move disappointing.
I heard some noise from down the street, and it wasn't just, I thought it was like construction noise or something like that, but it was a big bang and a big like equipment falling.
2 people have been rescued from a small plane crash near the Ottawa International Airport, while the condition of the 3rd person is unclear this morning.
This is unconscionable.
A new study shows fewer people in Quebec are without a family doctor.
I feel that we were very aggressive at the deadline and were able to accomplish our goals and made the team better.
Stretch run ready, the Blue Jays bolstering their pitching staff at the trade deadline ahead of what fans are hoping will be a deep run this fall. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Hey, Canada. I'm Teddy Wilson in for Lindsey Deluce. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm Kelsey McEwen. I loved your sports analysis there.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Do I have your approval?
Yeah.
Sports.
Listen, I know very little. I just know to yell loud, eat the hot dog, have the popcorn and the beer, and you're good to go.
That is not true. You
go to a lot of
you go to a lot of
No,
baseball
no.
and you watch a lot of baseball.
Yes, so I know a lot about specifically like 8 to 11U baseball, which is remarkably different considering there are 5 strikes in 8U. So when I go to the majors...
Are there really 5 strikes?
5 strikes. Yeah, they need more opportunities,
Yeah, for
first
sure.
of all.
It's great.
But when I go to the majors, I'm like, what just happened? Can you do that? So,
That's funny.
I could use 5 strikes too. That would be nice. Yeah. Let's turn to some of the top news stories we're following here for you this morning, and we will begin with trade. Prime Minister Mark Carney has responded to the move by U.S. President Trump to raise tariffs against Canada. A statement from the Prime Minister says, in part, while the Canadian government is disappointed by this action, we remain committed to CUSMA. Goes on to say we will continue to negotiate with the United States on our trade relationship. The Canadian government is laser focused on what we can control, building Canada strong. This comes after U.S. President Trump hiked tariffs hours before the August 1st deadline.
You know, we're taking in literally trillions of dollars for the country. This is making our country very rich and respected again.
The executive order from President Trump raises the tariff on non-CUSMA compliant Canadian goods from 25% to 35%. Goods routed through other countries to avoid that tariff would be taxed at 40%. And Ontario Premier Doug Ford says now is the time to hit back. He said in an online post, quote, Canada shouldn't settle for anything less than the right deal. Now is not the time to roll over. We need to stand our ground. Premier Ford also called on Canada to hit the U.S. with a 50% tariff on steel and aluminum. U.S. President Trump's executive order affects more than just Canada. Most countries are facing higher tariffs as of now. Brazil will see a 50% tariff on most of goods. Countries that reached last-minute deals, including Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand, saw their tariff rates go down to 19%. Mexico was given a 90-day extension, and China has its own August 12th deadline. Markets in Asia had their worst week since April today. European markets also slid to a 3-week low this morning. Canada's softwood lumber industry is taking a hit because of significant new duties brought by the U.S.
35% on lumber going across the line is just ridiculous. There's over 250 small manufacturing family-run companies like us in BC. It's gonna kill thousands of jobs.
The U.S. Commerce Department is nearly tripling anti-dumping duties on Canadian softwood lumber to 20.56%. More duties expected next week as well, which is expected to bring the rate against Canadian softwood lumber shipped to the U.S. to 34%. The U.S. lumber industry is applauding the move to penalize Canadian producers. They claim Canadians engage in predatory pricing and receive unfair government subsidies. Prime Minister Mark Carney says solving this conflict is a top priority in ongoing trade talks with the U.S. Witnesses near Ottawa's airport are describing the moments a small plane crashed Thursday night.
I heard it because it was behind me when it happened, and as I turned around, I saw something come across the road and into the hydro lines, but I did not know it was a plane until I got closer.
Ottawa paramedics say one adult male and one adult female were taken to hospital in stable condition. There's no further details on the third person from the plane. Ottawa Fire Services say the plane hit live hydro wires as it went down and came to rest in a tree about 6 meters in the air. They used a bucket ladder and specialized tools to get 2 people out. The Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Well, a new study shows a growing number of people in Quebec do not have a family doctor.
So family doctors are not spending 5 days of the week working in community practice. They have to balance that. And this is why they can't take on that huge load of, like I said, the larger practices.
In 2019, 82% of Quebec's population had a doctor, but that number dropped to 72% in 2024. The ISQ says factors include retirement and doctors taking in fewer patients, with one reason being that family doctors have to sometimes split their time between working at hospitals and long-term care facilities. In a statement to CTV News, Quebec's health ministry said, in part, quote, "We can no longer continue with the current model. That's why we will continue to make the necessary changes to improve access to care for all patients with the aim of ensuring that all Quebec patients are taken care of." Well, voting by Canada Post workers on a new offer wraps up today. This final offer is said to include a 13% pay hike over 4 years. It would also add part-time workers that Canada Post call necessary to stay afloat. The union, for about 55,000 workers, has urged its members to reject the offer. If that does happen, the union says it will get in touch with management immediately to invite them back to the negotiating table. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays were among the busy teams on a busy MLB trade deadline day.
Yeah, we're obviously fired up to be in the position that we're acquiring talent, and really excited for the organization, the fans, the players, the staff that have just earned this opportunity.
One of those opportunities is right-handed pitcher Shane Bieber. Bieber won the AL Cy Young Award with Cleveland in 2020, but is coming off of Tommy John surgery, or UCL reconstruction, and has not pitched this season. However, this gamble could pay off in a big way if he can be a contributor when he returns. They also acquired relief pitcher Louis Varland and infielder Ty France from Minnesota. These moves are in addition to the trade for reliever Sir Anthony Dominguez, who they got from Baltimore earlier this week. Well, a woman in Northern Ontario is looking for a new home for her personal garden carousel.
I don't want to leave it to other people to deal with. No one in my family has the same passion. I have a niece that might, but she lives in Victoria.
That is so cool. Edna Scott always loved horses and carousels. She's had a fully operational one in her yard for some time. Over the years, she's collected the antique animals on it. Some even date back to the 1900s. Scott also painted pictures of animals that come into her yard on it. It's been appraised at $114,000, but she's hoping to strike a deal with someone with her same passion for less. Scott also keeping one of the special horses on it, one her late husband once bought her.
That is so cool.
It is super cool. The one in Central Park, I still remember riding that the first time.
Yeah, I have pictures of my kid on it.
Yeah, it's super cool. That is really neat.
Do you remember?
Shout out Edna.
There's always one, and there was always a horse that my sister and I would fight over. It was the pretty one, and it had the big golden mane.
God, and it made or break.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could make or break your ride.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was I'm not saying the words right, but you know what I'm thinking.
You know what you mean. Yeah, I used to love that. There was one, I think it's at West Ed. Remember at West Ed?
West Edmonton Mall?
Yeah, and there are those little mini ones that you'd get in the mall.
Oh, yeah.
There's one at the Toronto Zoo, I feel like.
Is there?
Yeah, I mean, it's always one of the kids' favorites. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a good carnival ride going up and down on the horse.
Gotta love it.
Do the music for me. Can you do the music for me?
That's the circus music.
Yeah, it is the circus
That's all I got. That's all I got.
I'll let you do that.
It's a good shot. Okay.